Hi, my name is Anna and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about my summer reading plans, and I'm really excited about these because I have a list of books that I want to read this summer that I would like to get to. And then I also have 2 reading challenges that I am planning on participating in. So I'm going to go through both of those things. I am in a cute summery outfit right now. I actually wore this for Mother's Day, but it feels really summery. I have like shells on my necklace and my dress has like flowers and stuff on it. So I don't know. It just felt summery. So we're just going with the summer theme. So this might be a little bit of a longer video. So let's just go ahead and hop into it. So I'm going to go ahead and just start with some of the books that I am thinking about for this summer. And my hope is to be able to fit a lot of these into the prompts for the reading challenges that I'm going to be participating in. So we will get to those reading challenges in just a little bit. Let's just start with a list of the books. So the first one that I really would like to get to, and this is probably top of my summer TBR, is The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. This is basically a summer camp mystery about a camper who disappears. So of course I had to have a mystery or thriller, and I think I might have a couple other thrillers on this list, but I needed something like that for the summertime. So I figured that one would be perfect. Summer camp, absolutely, yes. I would also like to read either The Burning Side or The Bright Years by Sarah DeMoff. I have not read anything by her. Are these her only 2 books? I know The Burning Side just released, but I have heard great things about both of these. I think they are more like heavier books, but that's typically what I gravitate toward anyway. Not purposely, it just happens. But The Burning Side is about a family who escapes a house fire and just the aftermath of that. The Bright Years is about a husband who has a secret alcohol addiction and a wife who has a secret child, and just how that plays out in their marriage and in their family and over their lives. The next one is actually a book that I think somebody recommended to me on one of my other videos, but it is called We'll Prescribe You a Cat by Sue Ishida. This one seems, I could be wrong, but it seems a little more lighthearted, and I definitely want a little bit of lighthearted something in my summer reading. This one is about a clinic for people who are struggling in life, and they prescribe you a cat as treatment. So I don't know if this is like a magical realism. I don't think it is, but it almost sounds like it's only really available to people who really need it. I don't know if it like appears to people who need it or somehow they find it. I don't know. Anyway, it sounds kind of whimsical and fun, and I love cats. I'm very allergic to cats, but I love them. And it just sounds like a fun, silly book. The next one is called The Wash Ashores by Hannah McKinnon. And this is actually one of my anticipated releases for this quarter. It is about a woman who is set to inherit her grandmother's inn. It seems like it's going to be summery. There might be some sort of romance. It's kind of hinting at that in the synopsis. So that feels perfectly appropriate for summertime. Next up is Emma M. Lyon. I really want to get to this one. It's a short little book. I just bought it. I forgot to grab it. Hold on. Yeah, it's like 100 pages. So no reason I can't add that in this summer. Very much looking forward to that. Then, of course, is Theo of Golden. I didn't get to this for spring, and it still has like a spring summer vibe. I think it feels like a warm weather book. It's not something that I would probably choose to read in like winter time. So because I didn't get to this in the spring, I do want to get to this in the summer. That one is about a man who connects with people through portraits that he finds in a coffee shop, I believe. And then, oh my gosh, this book is so heavy. This is one of my May books, but it is the end of May. I have not started it yet, but I am about to as soon as I finish another book that I am reading, but that is Gone with the Wind. And I would love to read this summer. This feels like the perfect time to read this. This book follows a young woman from a wealthy family during the Civil War. I also have a few library books. Oh, actually, I do have We'll Prescribe You a Cat. I did pick this one up. So, fun. Okay. And I don't know, it's smaller than most books, even for like a hardcover. I'm not sure why, but anyway, tiny little book. Okay, next up on my summer list is Don't Let Him In by Lisa Jewell. This one is a thriller about 3 women who are connected by one very questionable man. I don't know what happens, but from my understanding, I don't think any of them know each other or know that this man knows these other women. It sounds good. I think I read one other Lisa Jewell and I liked it. So we will be, oh my gosh, actually, I'm looking at it right now. What is it called? None of This Is True. Okay, that was the one that I read. None of This Is True. And I did like that one. So I would like to try another Lisa Jewell. And that is the one that I picked up from the library. Okay, we have two more. The next one is The Covenant of Water by Abraham Verghese. This is a historical, multi-generational story, and it's set in India. I believe this book starts out with a 12-year-old girl who is being sent off to meet her 40-year-old husband. And that is how this starts. And it follows her through her life, and she becomes the matriarch of this family. That's all I really remember about the synopsis, but this has been on my list for a long time. I remember finding this because I saw it in Target, and it was such a huge book that I am automatically drawn to giant books for whatever reason. And when I read the synopsis, I immediately added it to my TBR, and that was a while ago. So it's time to get to that. Also, I do realize that I have quite a few large books on this list. I don't know what that means for my reading this summer, but there it is. And the last book on my summary reading list is The Measure by Nikki Erlich, I think. In this book, everyone in the world receives a box on their doorstep, and inside this box, I guess, tells them exactly how many years they have to live. And I believe we follow a few characters. Somehow I think their lives get intertwined, and it's just about them grappling with this information and figuring out what it means. That one has been on my list for a long time, and I actually have this one on my Kindle. I think I had bought it when it was on sale at some point, and every time I scroll past it, I think I need to read that, and then I don't pick it for some reason. So it is on my list for the summer. Okay, so let's get into the reading challenges that I'm going to participate in. I'm going to need my phone for this. Okay, let's see. The first one is the Summer Reading Challenge by Chantel from Chantel Reads All Day. This looks so fun, and I love her graphics that she shared for this. So this is not a bingo board. She said that they are just prompts that you can work through during the summer. So in the rules that she gave, each book that you read is an entry, not each prompt. Is that right? Yes. I can't remember if she explained this or not, but one of the questions that I have about that is, if you read like 3 books for a single prompt, do you get to submit all 3 of those, or do you just pick one? So like you can only read 1 book per prompt, and 1 book can fulfill multiple prompts, but you can only submit it for 1 prompt. I'm not sure. I'm probably way overthinking this, but anyway, I have a list of books that would work for each prompt in here. So I have a variety that I can choose from. So I'm just going to go through these prompts and share some of the books that are on my list. And these are books that are either on my TBR, on my Kindle, on my physical TBR, just coming from my own lists. So the first prompt is country. This is like countryside, could be on the cover, could be the setting. I believe all of these can be a cover or in the title. She did mention wanting to make it a little easier rather than having to find a book that has certain things in it, because sometimes it's hard to know what books will fit if the prompts require you to read something with certain things in them. And that is an issue that I've had with reading challenges in the past. So I really appreciate that she is doing that. So, okay, but this one is country. So I believe East of Eden by John Steinbeck would work for this. Where the Lost Wander by Amy Harmon. And I think maybe 800 Grapes by Laura Dave might work. It's like a vineyard setting, but possibly. I do have that one, so maybe that. The second prompt is journey. So in the title, the word trip or journey, or a vehicle on the cover, a book about a trip or journey. So the ones that I have listed here are The Second Mrs. Astor by Shanna Abe. This one is a fictional story about the Titanic. I have always been super fascinated with the Titanic. Titanic used to be my favorite movie of all time, and I still love it to this day, but I have never read a book about it. So I am looking forward to reading that at some point. It is already a book that I own on my Kindle. And then The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. I think this might fit because it's a summer camp. I don't know how much. I'm assuming most of the book takes place at the summer camp. I think that might work. Next up is Flowers, so garden or specific flowers in the title or on the cover. Some books that I have that would work for this are the Unselected Journals of Emma M. Lyon. There are flowers here on the cover of this one. The Measure would work for this one as well. On my Kindle, I also have The Last Father-Daughter Dance by Lisa Wingate, The Fourth Daughter by Lynn Leo Butler, The Restoration Garden by Sarah Blades. And then Demon Copperhead will actually work for so many of these prompts because there is so much on the cover of this. There's a sun, there's a book, there are flowers on here, trees, birds, water, there's butterflies on here, there's a snake. So there is all kinds of stuff on the cover of this, and this would fit so many of these prompts. So if there is one that I am struggling with, this will probably fit. And then I also listed The Collected Regrets of Clover, Mad Honey by Jodi Picoult. I do own Mad Honey, and there's some flowers on the cover of that one. A lot of these were a little bit easier with certain things on the cover. Flowers were an easier one. The fourth one is Home. This can be in the title, could be the word house, could be on the cover. So The Burning Side by Sarah DeMoff, I think this might count because it's revolving around a house fire. So a house, does that count? I don't know, maybe. Lights Out by Elise Hart Kipnis. This is on my Kindle. Also on my Kindle, American Housewife by Anita Abril. I listed this one because it's housewife. House. Does that count? I don't know. That's technically one word, so I'm not sure. But the word is in the title, so I think that's okay. First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. The Only One Left by Riley Sager. A Place to Land by Lauren K. Denton. All of those have houses on the cover. The fifth prompt is water. So going to the lake or beach has water in the title or the cover. The Wash Ashores would work for this one. The Covenant of Water. Natural Selection by Ellen Hilderbrand. This one has water on it. Leave It Up to Love by Chrissy Woodson Harvey. The Water Women by Bonnie Blaylock. Wake Up Calls by Mariah Stewart. Demon Copperhead again had water on the cover. And The Only One Left by Riley Sager. Also water on the cover. Did I mention this one for house? Because there's a house on here. I think I did. Wildlife. So this is not a pet, she said. It has to be a wild animal. And fantasy creatures work too. The Hanging City by Charlie N. Holberg. This one is on my Kindle, and Natural Selection again would work for that. Inheritance by Christopher Polini. I am almost done with Bersinger. I think I'm over halfway at this point. So if I could get to that this summer, I will probably read that one. It has dragons in it. Tea with Elephants by Robin Jones Gunn. This is a Christian fiction that has been on my list for a while. Don't own that, but it is on my list. And then, of course, Demon Copperhead. Yes, there are snakes on the cover of that. So that one would work. The seventh prompt is trees. So again, God of the Woods would work for this. I'm clearly reading God of the Woods this summer. The Covenant of Water would work for this. East of Eden, Remember Me Tomorrow by Farah Heron. The Epicenter of Forever by Mara Williams. I think that one is a romance, actually, that I had gotten from Amazon First Reads, I believe, and it's been sitting on my list, so that one would work. Demon Copperhead, of course. 800 Grapes would work for this one, and I might need to include that because that is a shorter book, so if I'm looking for a shorter read, that one might be good. Ask Again Yes by Mary Beth Kane. That one also has trees. The eighth prompt is 5 W's, so who, what, when, where, why, in the title. And this one was actually harder. I only had 3 that were on my list, so When the Day Comes by Gabrielle Meyer. My friend recently told me that she wants to read this book. So girl, if you're watching this, let's buddy read that. Where the Lost Wander by Amy Harmon, and Where Darkness Dwells by Andrea Renee. And I think that one is a Christian fiction as well. I don't know the exact genre, but I believe it's a Christian book. Next up is books. So about books, or in the title, The Wishing Game by Meg Sheffer. This one has like books all over the cover of this one. I was going through my list and this was the only one that I could find that had books on the cover. Or so I thought, until I looked closely at Demon Copperhead and there's a book right there. So that really is probably going to get read this summer if I'm trying to complete these, because that'll go for like everything. Okay, Sun on the cover. So Enormous Wings by Lori Frankel. I think this was one that popped up on my Goodreads and it sounds really wild. I don't totally know how I feel about it, but it does have a sun on it, or to me it looks like a sun. But I think that one is about a woman who goes into like a nursing home. A romance begins between her and a man that she meets, and she becomes pregnant. I don't know what the tone of this book is going to be. So I think the tone is really going to determine if I'm going to continue with it once I start. But anyway, if that sounds interesting to you, that would fit. The Bright Years by Sarah DeMoff. This one has a sun on it, and Demon Copperhead, of course, has a sun on it. The 11th one is Summer. This could be the word in the title. The cover looks summery, a book that just feels summery, which I love this. So Anne of Green Gables would probably be perfect for this. To me, that sounds like a summery book. I don't totally know the setting of that, but I think that would fit. It feels summery to me. It sounds summery. Theo of Golden and God of the Woods. I'm reading God of the Woods this summer. It's going to happen. Okay, and then the 12th prompt is wings. So an airplane, a bird, a dragon, fairy, anything with wings. So Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. This one's been on my list forever. This is actually a YA, and I think it might be one of the only YAs on my list at the moment, but it sounds very good, and it has wings. Demon Copperhead has wings on it. There's birds, there's butterflies. That one fits. And then Pachinko by Min Jin Lee. This one I think has a little butterfly like pendant or something on the cover. It took me a long time to figure out all of these books and to like list all of these with each prompt. So anyway, I'm all set. Hopefully, maybe that'll give you some ideas if you're going to participate in that one. The next reading challenge that I'm going to take part in is A Picnic in June, and this is hosted by Lucy, Kay, Jay, Jamie, and Lindsay, and I will list all of their channel names. I don't believe all of them have actual YouTube channels, but they have Instagrams. I don't have Instagram at the moment. It is disabled. It's been disabled for like over a year now, a year and a half. They are all hosting this. So, okay, A Picnic in June. This one is more of like a bingo board. But from my understanding, they are requesting that you only choose a prompt, one prompt from each column and each row. So what I did with this one, and I may go back and change these depending on how hard these are for me to fulfill, but I went through and I chose for each person, I chose one of their prompts and chose books for that specific prompt. I can always change these later, but these are the ones that I feel like I can fulfill the best. So for Lindsay, I chose Pasta, which is stories with heavy topics. So The Bright Years or The Burning Side by Sarah DeMoff would work for this. So I am hoping that some of the books that I had chosen for the other reading challenge will work for this reading challenge as well. So I can do both at the same time. And then Demon Copperhead would work for this one as well. For Jamie, I chose a beach setting. This is a story set in summer or at the beach. God of the Woods would be a good one for this, and The Washa Shores. For Lucy, I chose Panda, so black and white cover or a cute story. This one was a little bit harder because I realized I don't really have any black and white cover books. Theo of Golden, I don't know if I can get away with this. This is not actually white. This is like a cream color, and technically that's black. That counts. Okay, so I don't know if is that cheating? I'm not sure. Maybe that's not a black and white cover. I don't know. Black and cream. No, Okay, it's okay. I have I have two other possibilities. So we'll prescribe you a cat. This one feels like a cute story to me. I don't know how deep this book is. Maybe it won't be very lighthearted. I'm not sure. To me it sounds like it's going to be a lighthearted story, but I know that the people in the story who are getting these cats are going through some hard life things. We'll see. It sounds cute to me though. Like a cat is your treatment for something hard that you're going through. Like I love that. Okay. And then The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This one is mostly black and white. I think there's some red in the cover, but I would call this a black and white cover. This was actually, I think this is my other YA that is on my TBR. So maybe I have two. I think that might be it. I'm not sure. Okay. And then for J, I chose Dragon Fantasy. So it has a dragon in it. And this one's easy because I need to read Inheritance by Christopher Polini. However, this one only goes through the month of June. This is not an all summer reading challenge. This is just a June reading challenge. So I don't know if I will be able to finish that in June. So because of that, I may have to switch this one up with a different one, like trade prompts. But anyway, that's what I have listed at the moment. And then for K, I chose writing, so a character who writes. And this one would be Emma M. Lyon because she is writing her journal. And that's what the story is. Those are my reading plans for this summer. I'm really excited. These sound so fun. I love a good reading challenge, and I don't think I've actually participated in one this year. And I have intended to. I have started or tried to. I think the one that I was really trying for was the Read Happy Readathon. And I completely failed this because like the first 2 or 3 books that I read that month were sad books. And I was like, this is not going well. It completely failed. That one didn't work out. And then there was another one that I was trying to participate in and I lost it. I don't know where it went. I don't know who it was by. It's gone. So this one, I actually made a list. I listed who it is that is hosting it, and I will hopefully not lose this one. I'm looking forward to reading these. I am looking forward to seeing how I can fulfill each of these prompts. I would also like to mention, I love that the summer reading challenge that Chantel is doing does not require you to finish a certain number of books. However many books that you're able to finish, you can submit that as an entry. And I think that was just genius because it does kind of stress me out to have to finish a certain number of books in a certain amount of time, because depending on the length of the book or the length of the books that I'm reading, it's just not always possible. So I love that. Super thankful for that. That'll make this a lot easier to stick to. And I feel like there was something else I was going to say about this, and I don't know what it was. Okay. Well, so if you have summer reading plans, I would love to hear about your summer reading plans. Sometimes I love planning my reading lists more than diving into my reading list. I'm such a planner. Anyway, this was such a good time just planning out this list. I am going to be reading some of my Kindle books, which has needed to happen for a while. I will be reading library books this summer, and I will be still pulling books from my physical TBR. So we're just going to do a little of everything. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.